Hello and good day. My name is Ken Singletary. I'm one of the communication majors with Grand Canyon University. Forgive me if I'm seem like I'm talking like this because I had a tooth extraction and a root canal on Thursday, and the pain is not as bad as before, but still, it lingers. So if I'm a little slurred, forgive me. Anyhow, this is based upon the most recent assignment that we have to do in terms of presenting an issue where we had to utilize what we've learned so far, and that's pretty much what I wanted to do. And what I'm going to write about, and speak about now is based upon the issue that I wrote about and that I've submitted, where it's about 11 years ago, where I was a trainer for the current company that I work for, and one of the participants, one of the students who I was training, who was one of the employees there at the company, he ran into an issue where he came into my class. It was an afternoon training class. He came into my class and he was a little, how can I put it, belligerent, because he went and had a couple of drinks with some of his coworkers, and some of these coworkers who were part of his culture, who allowed for him to drink and to relax himself. Needless to say, they allowed him to have one drink too many. And because of that, he came back into the job and eventually to the training class that I was holding a little, again, under the influence of alcohol. Anyhow, his training class was for about an hour, and this was more of a refresher in regards to how to do a certain process in the system. It was only an hour, but we wound up having it for 90 minutes. Why? Because there were a couple of questions in between there that were pretty important to the role, but also because he had a couple of, let's say, 3 distractions, really 4, that caused us to make the training a little bit longer than what it should have been. And so because of that, it became a disruption at the end. And this update towards the system is very important. The class still received all of the instruction from it, but something just did not sit right with me. I had to stop and I had to speak with him to find out what was the issue. That's one of the items that I've learned in this class, especially from the recent readings about listening, because if you can take the time, stop what you're doing and just listen to what the person has to say and why they're saying it, and just let them talk. You listen and they talk, and then that helps. And so I that's what we did right after the training. And after I sent the email with the additional information, I went and spoke with him. We went to my office and we spoke for, seemed like, the remainder of the day. It actually was the remainder of the day, 3 hours later. Come to find out, he had an issue with a couple of things. Number one, he received a complaint that he did a bad job regarding a certain customer, so much so that he almost lost his job. The complaint was that bad. And secondly, his wife, she wound up being laid off from her job, and they were trying to buy a house, and so because of that, it was really stressing them out, both items coming at him at once. And after I listened, because he spoke continuously for about 20 minutes, then I came in and I responded back with some empathy first, because I've been there. I've been the product of divorce, and I went through a divorce myself. It sucks out loud, but you will recover. Even though he didn't go through a divorce, but I've been through a layoff. Again, you will recover. Time is a very important item And so we spent the time together, and I exerted a lot of my energy towards him in terms of listening and making sure I asked questions when appropriate, not interrupting him, not giving my 3 cents after I hear a certain item, but I listened to his whole rant and rave and dialogue. And so because of that, that allowed for me to help him. And I showed affection as well because I let him cry. I let him vent. I let him cuss. I let him scream. He got out of his system. So once you let someone get that out of their system, then you can communicate with them better and stronger. And finally, I provided him resources. I found out he was a Christian, but just like with a lot of us, we are all not perfect. And he's a social drinker, was a social drinker, and he drunk that day. So I gave him ways and other tactics to supplement or substitute his drinking and scriptures, and I gave him my phone number, most importantly. And I said, hey, you're a friend. You're not just a random coworker, you are a friend of mine. And so that was the ultimate resource, which was me extending myself to him. Do I think it would have been better had it been someone of opposite sex? Yes, because you have to phrase your words a certain way and certain cadence and different tone, lighter tone, to make sure that you're conveying the right message. Moreover, he was around my age, so that was fine too. And in addition to that, he had a chance to look into his self-image, which is the proverbial mirror that I wrote about before. And after a few months, especially when I moved on to become an executive within the company, he still reached out to me. He thanked me for me helping him tremendously. And so to sum up everything, again, I spent time with him because I listened and let him rant and rave. And then after that, then I gave him the opportunity to use his energy. And I found out the culture he's from, they're drinkers, but there's no judging at all. And affection, I showed empathy, not only by listening, but also providing resources to him, and then the resources. I provided those resources, my cell phone, my attention, and scriptures as well. So to sum everything up, I used the tier method, which is my creation, time, energy, affection, and resources, to better exude communication, sharper and stronger. And that's what's on the paper. And thank you again for listening, and hope you have an awesome, wonderful, great day and a wonderful weekend. Peace.